Well, would you go so far as to say negotiations need to happen to gain back U.S. hostages?
I wouldn't, I don't necessarily disagree with I don't disagree with our policy around negotiation with terrorists. Obviously, I don't think we should be negotiating with terrorists. But we have tremendous resources and tremendous capabilities in this country, and we need to be putting them to work smarter to find these people. I'm really focusing on why we can't find these people in an area where we're investing a tremendous amount of money, have tremendous assets, and we have lots of partners who really need to be helping us in this effort. So that's what I'm really focused on. We have a lot of czars in government. We should have a hostage czar, someone who wakes up every day and has complete access to all the resources of the U.S. government to find Americans that are held hostage.
Well, let me ask you this. Senator Angus King, an independent from Maine, who is a member of the Senate Intelligence Committee, believes that there needs to be a review of what happened. Obviously, you agree, especially with the president saying, we want to confront squarely what happened, learn from these mistakes, and make sure that they do not happen again.
That's right.
And how do we do that?
Well, so what we've called for is an independent review, not just of this specific event on January 14th. That obviously has to be looked at to see if, we could have done more on the intelligence side to know whether there were two, because it's obviously Warren who I'm most concerned about, but the Italian aid worker, our hearts go out to their family as well, to ask the question, should we have known that these two individuals were there? That's the first question. But the second question that I think is as important is, are we doing enough to find our hostages? Is it an absolute top national priority the way I think it should be in so many others? So I think this investigation has to be much broader, and we've been working on this for some time, and some other people are as well, to make sure that there is the resources and the focus in our government to find Americans who are held hostage. That's the tragedy here.
And do you agree that the tragedy is also that when you bring up a name like Dr. Warren Weinstein, that may not necessarily ring a bell to the American public, but when you speak of Adam Gadahan and these names as well, that yes, okay, of course, those are the ones that we remember as far as fighting terrorism and remembering those who were out there for it as far as U.S. citizens.
I mean, sometimes hostages that are held overseas are kept in confidence, and sometimes they're made public, so I don't think that's as relevant. Obviously you want the American people to be praying for not only our military men and women overseas, but anyone who's in harm's way that's an American citizen. But what I'm really focused on is making sure the extraordinary capabilities that this government has are fully brought to bear on finding every American hostage. Because the identification of the hostage, how you get them back is a different question. But where I find the shortcoming is that we can't even find some of these people. Like, we weren't able to find Warren, which to me was always shocking. In all the meetings I was in and all the conversations I was in with Elaine and all the various things we tried to do, which a lot of them I can't even talk about, it was so amazing to me that we couldn't find these people when you consider the capabilities, both technological and on the ground, that we have. And that's the discussion that I think has to happen. Obviously, we need to investigate what happened on January 14th. Was the intelligence sufficient enough to give them the confidence to make the order that they did that resulted in these deaths? That's an important question, clearly, but also the broader question about are we finding, because there's a lot of other Americans held overseas, many of which we don't know the names of because they're being held in because it's confidential.
And unfortunately, in this case, we found out their names and know their names after the fact. Congressman
But it's a sad day. It's a sad day for Warren's family, and I know we're all praying for them on this terrible day.